The absolute 100% best form of revenge that you could ever possibly have is massive success. That's a good boy. You ready to dance? Sit. High five. Good boy. Say, I'm still standing. Such a good boy. All right, guys. So, I'm gonna get my camera set up here. Looks like I'll get it right there, and I'll get this up here and get this adjusted, and then we'll move this thing. Yeah, perfect. So 2021 was just a whole freaking plethora of bull crap that happened in my life. I will share about this much with it. I will share about this much of it with you guys and just let you know all the wonderful things that come out of divorcing your wife. Well, the things I'm going to be opening with you about, and I'm not going to go into details and everything, but in the last year, I walked away from a brand new house that I had purchased with my wife in December 2020. We were already having issues for the last several years, and I asked her some questions a couple days after Christmas, and I didn't like her response to it. You wanna go outside, Bubba? There you go. He's a good boy. I didn't like her response, and that was it for me. I just called it quits. So I gave her the house, gave her her car. We didn't have any money in the bank, had about $400 in it. We didn't have any assets, there was nothing to split. And I decided I'm just gonna live here in the shop. In this shop. So, living in this shop, I have an office space over here. You guys wanna see it? Give you the grand tour where I've been staying for a year. And there's my bed. It's one of those nice adjustable beds. It's a Tempur-Pedic, you know, blah, 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 blah. There's the old office space. There's my kitchen. And that's pretty much pretty much it. It's a tiny spot, but you know, I don't really like a large house, honestly. But it's got a nice bathroom. Check it out. Yeah. Ooh. You got a sink and a toilet. But what it doesn't have a shower. So I got me a bathtub. There's all the plumbing stuff for the bathtub, and then I don't know why this place was built like this, but there's a hole in the wall right there, and I put some 2x4s up in it because eventually I'll be able to afford to seal off that space right there and make a shower and a bath. In the meantime, I've just been when I split from my wife, I was on the volunteer fire department in Granbury. Some of you guys know how that ended up. Well, I was just taking a shower up at the fire station using the washer and dryer. Fast forward to May, I had an emergency hearing in court with my wife. Literally a day after that emergency hearing, my my fire chief texted me, hey, we got an anonymous email about some comments that you left to some people on your own personal TikTok. And a fire department video, and you're extremely upset about it and everything. So, long story short, I got kicked out the fire department for 30 days. Came back after 30 days, like, woohoo, I am rip-roaring ready to get back and being a firefighter. I made it about 3.5, 4 weeks until I pissed off a captain on the Granbury Volunteer Fire Department and got effectively completely kicked off the fire department at that point. So, I lived here in the shop, and in the meantime, I didn't have access to a shower or bathtub or anything, so I started taking bucket showers here in the shop. And if you guys don't know what a bucket shower is, you get 1 bucket full of clean hot water, you get 1 bucket full of soapy water, and you lather yourself up, and you take a cup and you just dump it over. I learned that from my dad. It sounds really, bad, and it's not, guys. There's worse things that that can happen to you. There's so much worse things that can happen in your life than anything that I just mentioned. All that it's all just a drop in the bucket, and at the end of the day, it doesn't freaking matter. Only thing that matters is the friends that I had involved in the whole thing and my sons. That's it. I was just explaining something to my girlfriend last night, and I explained something to Justin with the good of the land on the phone, and I was talking to Chucky on text messages, and I will tell you guys 100% of the time that if something crazy happens in your life that you just cannot explain and you feel like you're getting just a rotten end shake of the deal, there's a reason that happened. I give this analogy all the time. When I was around 16, 17 years old, I had my truck keys in my hand, I was living at my mom's house, leaving outside to go to work, and I was running late, and I walk outside and I drop my damn keys. Bring down and pick them up. I'm like, ah. Walk 4 more feet, drop my keys again. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Reach down and pick up my keys, and I dropped them a 3rd freaking time. How in the hell do you drop your keys 3 freaking times? I'm so angry at this point that I grab my keys and I throw them at my truck, and I'm like, gosh dang darn it. Rah, rah, doing all that kind of stuff. The very first intersection that I came up on a stagnant red light. And at the time, I was crazily invested in running every single yellow light, red light I could. So I had to stop. I pulled up to that intersection, and when I pulled up to that intersection, a freaking truck goes zooming past through that intersection. I mean, doing like 60 miles an hour. Had I been through that intersection 2 seconds ahead of that schedule, I would have met that truck, and who knows what would have happened. Might have made it out of alive, might not have made it. Who the heck knows? But there's always another plan, and I don't know what the end of that plan is. I'm a believer in God. I'm a Christian, and I always believed and always have believed that there's just more to this scenario than I can possibly fathom. Everything happens for a reason. So the last year can be looked at as a really, really negative, and oh my gosh, this happened. Oh, I'm having to take bucket showers in my shop. But I got a pretty freaking awesome shop. Look at this place. It's insulated. It's well lit. I've got a 2-post lift. I can do mechanic work, and it's one of my favorite things to do is mechanic work. I get to live in the office space, and in the morning I get to walk straight out and go to work. And it's an amazing setup. I really like this setup. It took me a little while to realize it, but the only thing that I would change about this place is, one, I don't own it. I'm renting it, and that kind of bothers me. Is the doors don't go up high enough, so I can't pull in 18-wheelers. And like every man that has ever owned a shop, you always want, you always want a little bigger, a little wider, Shh. I'll keep your secret safe with me. We always want things bigger, better, and wider, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. But that's the only detractor to this deal. So, got kicked out the fire department last year, and right before I got kicked out the fire department, I'd volunteered my time and taken one of these great big, huge ladder trucks to an event. This event was a local Christian academy, and they were having like an end of year kind of party for the summer. Yay. Get the truck out there, and there's a teacher out there that her and we saw eye to eye. And as soon as we saw each other, we were like, oh, no, there's something special about that person. And I met a fantastic girl and started talking to her since then. And immediately got kicked off the fire department 2 weeks later. She had nothing to do with that. Don't read too much into it. But what I'm telling you guys is my entire reason for being on the fire department changed. I was on the fire department, and I was going to be super firefighter. I love being a firefighter, and I still do. I get the opportunity to be a firefighter again. I wanted to go above and beyond, and the level at that department to jump up to was being able to drive and operate the trucks, be an engineer. I wanted to be an engineer. So I worked and strove. I worked as hard as I possibly could to learn every single truck at my station, learn how they all operate, and know how to operate them. And I started getting to the point where I was allowed to drive the trucks. I was allowed to drive the tanker truck. I was allowed to drive, a couple of other trucks in a couple of situations, and I was getting more and more involved. And I was allowed to drive the big, huge ladder truck, Tower 1. It's a $1.2 million truck. Got to drive that truck to my youngest son, Caleb's elementary school for Firefighter Awareness Day, and got to put the whole ladder up top and the cellar nozzle on it, and spray water all over the kids, and they were having a fantastic time. Fire trucks out there. I was having a fantastic time. I had 2 other firemen with me. They were having a fantastic time. And then about a week or 2 or 3 or however the hell it ended up, after that, I ended up taking a different ladder truck, another $1 million truck out to this, Christian Academy, and then meeting this fantastic girl. And shortly after that, got, kicked off the fire department. But I can look at that situation as oh my God, I got kicked off the fire department. Oh my God, it's so terrible. Oh, these guys did this to me, and what was me kind of deal. Or look at it like, I was supposed to be in that situation. I was supposed to be on the fire department. This all ended up working out to have this happen in my life right at that moment. Have that, meet that chance with that teacher, meet that this woman she's been in my life ever since. We've been dating and everything. And I choose to look at that situation that way. I was supposed to be there, and then shortly after, I was not supposed to be on the fire department. Who knows what would have happened? I could have ended up, going, my dumb self could have ended up going into a burning structure, trying to put out a fire, and incorrectly guessing, something, ended up injuring myself, or worse, dying, or hell, more likely, what kills most firemen, I might have gotten overzealous on the way to the fire department and wrecked my truck and died on the way. Or, worse, going in an apparatus to a location and getting a little too fast on that turn, or somebody running into us and killing everybody in a truck or something. I look at that situation like God prevented that from happening in my life. I was not supposed to be on the fire department at that point. It was completely out of my control. I was not given absolutely any way to make amends, make it right. And when that kind of stuff happens, when something is completely 100% out of your control, it's because it's just how it was supposed to be played out. Just take it for what it is and take it as something positive out of it. Now, at the time, it was detrimental to me, and I got really depressed, and I got really sad, and I got really, angry and stuff, and wanted to get even, and all this other stuff. And my ex-wife she's pulling all this crazy, just absolutely craziness against me. If you guys have ever been around a couple, some couples that are going through a divorce, it's very common for one of them to try to do a smear campaign against the other one, or vice versa, or both of them try to smear campaign. And my ex is extremely angry about the situation, extremely, felt that she didn't deserve, this, what happened to her and everything, and she decided to lash out against me. And I can't fault her for it or anything. I was open and honest and told her 100% of what my intentions were and everything. And she didn't take it too well, but we were together 16 years, so I get it. She's going to be angry. Now, out of that, I'll tell you guys a couple of the absolute freaking craziest thing that she pulled. A whole bunch of other stuff had happened, and she's tried to get police on, she's called the cops on me. She's tried to have a whole bunch of, every single thing that she's tried to do against me has not worked out in her grand scheme of things. But one of the craziest things that she's done is, let me turn my cell phone off because I don't want the alphabet soup dorks. If you guys don't know what the alphabet soup dorks, that's the FB, the IR, the guys with the acronyms for the names. I don't want them to hear about this. So the absolute craziest thing that happened was she told my friends, my family, and her family that apparently before we were ever together, I somehow murdered 2 people and told her about it, and she knows where the bodies are. I don't remember murdering anybody, but that's. I had a buddy of mine call me one day, and he's like, "Holy shit, can you and I?" He goes, "Holy crap, you're not gonna believe what your ex." She called me. She sent me this text saying that Steven's going to jail. He's going to prison. He's going forever, and they're gonna lock him away. And if you want to ever see him again, you need to go see him right now. And and say your goodbyes, basically. And so my buddy calls her, and he's like, hey, what are you talking about? What the hell did he do? She's like, well, I know he murdered 2 people before. And my buddy goes, you were a cop for like 8-10 years or something, weren't you? She goes, uh-huh. And so you were a police officer. You supposedly knew he murdered 2 people, and you just sat on it until 16 years later until a divorce? Now it's become an issue? She's like, uh-huh. He goes, you do realize that makes you an accessory after the fact, right? So anyway, it's unsubstantiated. I've never, I'll tell you guys like a really awesome quote that I love from Penn Jillette. I have murdered and raped every single person that I have ever wanted to. I've murdered all the people that I wanted to, and I have raped all the people that I've wanted to, and I have assaulted all the people that I've ever wanted to, which is 0. None of them. It's just this craziness, and guys, don't fault her, and I'm telling you guys about that because it's funny. I think it's funny. During our relationship, she was a fantastic mother to my sons. She's always been a fantastic mother. I have never, not once, ever questioned anything that she's ever done to the kids. She's always put them first. She's always had them at heart, and she's always treated them fairly. She's always treated them with respect. She's a damn good woman. It's just her and my relationship did not work out. It didn't work out. She didn't, she hasn't understood why it didn't work out. And again, I was extremely vocal to her and explaining exactly why it wasn't working out and the problems that I had in the relationship. Just what? Dog got scared. She's just extremely upset about the entire situation, and I'm not going to go as far as say rightfully so, but at the end of the day, it's just how she took it. Now, all the accusations and the other stuff that she's come up with and told about me, all the accusations and everything she's done and the other, nonsense that's gone on, it's all uncalled for. But you guys that are older, even younger, your parents went through a divorce, your friends went through a divorce, you've seen all this stuff before. One side is just completely trash, and the other side, this side is completely trash, and the other side, and it's just, it happens. I've decided to be pretty silent about the whole deal. I haven't told my son, I told my son the reason why I decided to leave her and the situation and the divorce and everything. I did tell my sons and asked them, like, hey, has your mom told y'all that I murdered 2 people? And they're like, yeah, we kind of heard that. I'm like, yeah, well, I've never actually murdered anybody, just so you know. And, spoke to them about it. But other than that, I keep the entire divorce situation away from my sons because I grew up in a household where my mom was so pissed off at my dad was so pissed off at my mom that I literally had to tell my mom driving down the road one day that in these exact words, I don't ever want to hear you talk about my dad that way again. Don't talk about my dad that way. I don't care what y'all's arguments are. That's between y'all. And I left it at that. And my mom told me years later, she goes, you know what? I never understood how detrimental my attitude was towards your father was, and I was venting to you. I wanted to try to talk you into believing my side. And she thanked me for doing that. She told me that it never really dawned on her that, this is his father. That will always be my father. She will always be my mother. And I did the same thing to my father because he would do the same thing. Man, he would throw her under the bus. She would throw him under the bus. And in 5th grade, I got tired of it. It's like, you know what? Stop this nonsense. You're talking about my mom that way. You're not going to talk about my mom that way. And I told my mom, you're talking about my dad that way. You're not going to talk about my dad that way. And when couples get divorced, man, the freaking claws come out and you just so desperately want to get even with the other person. You're hurting, so you want them to hurt as much as you're hurting. In this case, I am hurting, but I have gone through that. And like I told you guys in the first part of this video, Everything happens for a reason. Had my parents not been divorced and I had to go through that, I would not realize how detrimental that is to my sons. So I have decided to not go that route with my sons and not be disparaging about my wife to them, not make up nonsense about her to them. And at least, she's doing that with them, but at least there's one side that's not, that's changing and breaking that particular mindset or whatever. So as a positive out of that, this is what I come up with. I'm going to come up with a shirt. It's going to have a logo, just like right here, like my other shirts. And it's going to say, my favorite YouTuber got away with murder, or my favorite YouTuber got away with double murder. And it's just a joke playing on a horrible, disparaging thing that was said about me, but it's making light of the situation, guys. It's just me trying to turn a negative into a positive, and all 100% honesty, making a profit on those shirts. So I can take something that was said about me that was completely inaccurate, completely, a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, can't believe blah, 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 blah. Let's not go down that route. Let's just go the other route where we'll turn it into a damn positive and it'll make a joke out of it. So I don't know when those shirts are going to come out. I'm going to probably get on Teespring tonight and look down in the description. And if there's a Teespring link in the description for that shirt, buy it. Be proud of it. I'm going to order my own shirt. I just haven't really decided to go down that road yet until this video. So this last year of my life has been so crazy. I've gone through a divorce. I got kicked off the fire department. The lawyer that I hired was a complete, waste of time, waste of money. And even now, it's still not over with. I just got served with paperwork the other night, last week, that apparently I'm being sued by my ex now for, blah, 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 and a bunch of more nonsense that's made up. I can either look at all the situation as a, oh my gosh, get angry, get, depressed. And I had allowed myself to get angry and depressed this last year, but it has literally amounted to zero help for myself. Nothing positive has come from me allowing myself to go down that road and me allowing myself to be that, getting depressed and not getting things accomplished. There's only a couple of things that I'm really good at. I'm a really good mechanic. I love mechanicking on stuff. I'm good at making YouTube videos. I've made a successful YouTube channel before, and I'm a good father. Those are the only three things I know how to do, so that's the only things that I'm going to do. I'm going to grow this channel. I'm going to make it massively successful, massively profitable. I'm going to blow it out of the water, get way more subscribers and views than my last channel, be a lot more productive about uploading content to this channel. Something I strive to do that in my last channel, and I didn't, and now the opportunity is here to where I'm much more motivated to do it. I'm going to be the best father I possibly can to my sons, and every single chance that I possibly can have with them, I have always taken, and I always will take. I'm going to make sure that when they're with me, we are getting the maximum amount of our life with, our time and lives with each other. Not sitting around watching TV, not sitting around just playing video games. I mean, actually getting out and doing stuff, working out with them, taking them everywhere I can, whether I can afford it or not. If I'm broke at the time, then going to the park, just maximizing that one-on-one time with them, and growing my business in the shop. I've always been a good mechanic. I've always been able to get stuff taken care of, get stuff done, take care of my customers' issues. I've got a whole shop full of customer projects, things that I need to get running and have gotten running, and that's what I'm good at. As long as I stick to what I'm good at, what I know, everything else in my entire life will just fall into place like it's supposed to. Because there is no other option than that. I have zero control over what my ex does. I have zero control over what any of you guys do. I have zero control over anybody else's lives. The only thing that I have control over is making content, being a good mechanic, being a good father. So My goals for this channel and this year are to blow this freaking channel wide open, way past what I have ever accomplished so far. My old channel, I had 250,000 subscribers and a total of around 50, 60 million views. One of those videos got like 30 million of those views. So I've already got the proof in the pudding. I'm going to do that with this channel. And I'll leave you guys with this saying. I did door-to-door sales back in 2000, 2001 when I was living down in Houston. And the supervisor that I had at the time, he had this absolutely fantastic saying. And I've loved this saying, and it's stuck with me. And I hope this sticks with you. The absolute 100% best form of revenge that you could ever possibly have is massive success. Just worry about making yourself massively successful, and your haters and the people that don't want you to succeed will drive themselves insane because they're not able to rent space in your head anymore. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to do with this channel. That's what I'm going to do in my life. I have really, in my opinion, messed up this last year, and it kind of had the woe is me. Oh my gosh, this happened, oh, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason I can't do that. And it's done nothing for me. Being massively successful will help so many different areas of my life. My ex-wife suing me right now. I am brokered and shit. Can't afford a lawyer. Had I adopted this attitude 6-7 months ago, I could have the money, be making the money in a month, and paying a lawyer 5, 6, 10 grand or whatever would be a drop in the bucket. Wouldn't care. I could throw money at that situation, make it go away. 100%. If I had been a lot more outgoing and productive 6-7 months ago, I could have been in the house and actually had some bedrooms for them to have available, to where when and if they ever decide that they're not really liking where they're at now, or they're just wanting to stay with dad a little more, they have that option, because they don't have that option right now. The rest of everything that's a problem could have been solved had I just decided to do what I'm best at, and that's the things that I know how to do. So I hope you guys liked the video. That explains a little bit what's happened in this last year, and how I'm gonna, I've just decided that I'm gonna turn a negative into a positive and use it for motivation. I will highly, highly, highly encourage you guys, as much as you would, the fans and you guys, you viewers, your subscribers, the guys that have been with me forever, the new guys that have just come across my channel, please do not look at my ex as a bad person, as any fault of hers. It's just such a natural progression in that situation when people get divorced, when a couple separates after they've been together a while, especially when you have children, to result to anger. She's not a bad person. She never has been a bad person. She's never been a bad mother. She is dealing with a tremendous amount of hurt and pain in her own way, and you can look at that however you want. She's not the only one to do that. She is definitely not the first person in history, and she will not be the last person in history to go down and that road and take that avenue of trying to get even, trying to get whatever out of it. That's just how how it happens a lot of times. So I'm asking you guys, don't put disparaging stuff in the comments. If you're gonna comment about her in any way, shape, or form, like, oh my gosh, can't believe that, just say you're gonna buy a shirt, and we're gonna turn that negative into a positive. I am not gonna let, and I never have let, anybody's little opinions about me matter. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it badass. I'm gonna be successful at it, and screw everybody else. Nobody's gonna get in my way, because the only person in this whole situation that's gonna stop me and prevent me from doing it is me. And I've allowed that to happen this last year, and I'm not gonna let it happen anymore. I want you guys to really look at yourselves, look at your own life, and tonight, after you watch this video, take note of the own things in your life that you don't like. What are some things that you're doing that you don't like? What's things that are happening in your life that you do not, that has bothered you? Is it an addiction? Is it not taking care of something? Is it spending amount of time? Is it, whatever it is, you write it down. And the things that you're doing in your life, write them down, the things that you don't like. And then I want you to write down and be honest with yourself, the things that you're doing in your life that you didn't like, how much benefit have you gotten from doing those over the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Write them down. It's so much different to write that on paper and figure out that, I'm out of shape, I'm fat. I hate being out of shape, I hate being fat, but what have you, been doing to remedy that situation, make yourself feel better? Oh, I've been getting, several McDonald's orders and pizzas throughout the week. I know those aren't healthy. And once you see that on paper, you will actually be true, be real with yourself and realize that none of that stuff has made any positive thing happen in your life. So check the description down below. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the shirts out or not. I might have to hire a graphic designer to come up with a cool little logo for the My Favorite YouTuber Got Away with Murder, or My Favorite YouTuber Got Away with Double Murder. But let's turn this into a positive. I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your comments down below. And as always, get out and fix something. Even if that means fixing something with yourself.